In a bold gambit for supremacy, Vince McMahon orchestrated a clandestine plan to establish a nationwide wrestling dominion. With the NWA on the ropes, McMahon set his sights on securing the services of wrestling icon Hulk Hogan, intending to unleash the full force of his promotional juggernaut. As McMahon maneuvered to acquire television contracts and consolidate territories across the country, the machinations grew ever more sinister. The culmination of this shadowy campaign was the infamous Black Saturday, a day synonymous with treachery and the birth of a wrestling empire that would forever alter the landscape of the industry. In the twilight shadows of wrestling history, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, a visionary with an insatiable hunger for dominance, cast his gaze upon Georgia Championship Wrestling. With an astute business acumen, he orchestrated a strategic acquisition that would forever alter the landscape of professional wrestling. As the clock ticked down to the fated hour of 6:05 on that fateful Saturday evening in July 1984, countless wrestling enthusiasts tuned into their televisions, eager for the usual dose of Georgia Championship Wrestling action on TBS. However, what unfolded before their bewildered eyes was an extraordinary spectacle. The familiar logo of Georgia Championship Wrestling was replaced by that of WWF as an enigmatic figure emerged from the shadows. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, his countenance etched with both excitement and determination, stood before the stunned audience. With a booming voice, he declared the birth of a new era in professional wrestling, forever banishing the memory of his adversarial predecessors from that hallowed time slot. But McMahon's triumph was tinged with a bitter undercurrent. Despite his grand ambitions, the reception from Mr. Ted Turner, the enigmatic owner of TBS, fell short of his expectations. A sense of disappointment gnawed at McMahon's soul as he realized that the door to a warm embrace remained stubbornly closed. Vincent's savvy maneuvering secured him both the coveted promotion and the prime-time slot. While Georgia Championship Wrestling differed from Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, they maintained a deep-seated alliance, sharing resources and fostering a vibrant talent exchange. Vincent's acquisition of the time slot presented a golden opportunity for Jim Crockett. Not only could Crockett salvage the situation by securing the time slot, but by acquiring Georgia Championship Wrestling, he would dramatically expand his reach nationwide, opening up a vast potential for revenue and success. In the tapestry of professional wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling holds a pivotal place, its history entwined with a legendary figure, Jim Barnett. As a formidable promoter who had shaped numerous territories, Barnett embarked on a fateful journey into Georgia, where he waged a fierce battle for dominance against longtime regional kingpin Gunkel. Barnett's unwavering television connections, forged during his formative days on Chicago's Dumont network, played a crucial role in his triumph. His partnership with Ted Turner entrusted him with the helm of Georgia Championship Wrestling, an epic that commenced in the 1970s. As the chief booking agent, Barnett held sway over the industry's most formidable talents, including the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Barnett's influential position ensured that promoters seeking to showcase Rhodes would pay a percentage of their revenue to his empire. In his pursuit of growth, Barnett enlisted the support of kindred spirits, notably the renowned Briscoe brothers, Jack and Jerry, and the formidable Ole Anderson. Together, they shared ownership and oversight of Georgia Championship Wrestling, with Anderson assuming the role of day-to-day operations manager. This formidable alliance propelled the organization to unprecedented heights, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of wrestling history. In the realm of entertainment, they not only secured the performers, but also orchestrated the production of televised spectacles. However, the Briscoes grew resentful of Ollie Anderson's hefty salary, which they believed infringed upon their own financial returns. They proposed a reduction in his compensation to increase their profit margin. Faced with an ultimatum from the Briscoes, Anderson countered with a macabre proposition, a blood pact. He offered to etch their alliance by slicing open his forehead and sharing blood with them. But Jack Briscoe, harboring a prejudice against Anderson's Polish heritage, flatly refused to become a blood brother with him. In light of this brewing conflict, Anderson relented, sacrificing a portion of his shares to appease the Briscoes and maintain his leadership. Meanwhile, an unexpected phone call from Vince McMahon Jr. presented an intriguing offer. At an airport rendezvous, McMahon proposed a deal. The Briscoes would relinquish their shares in exchange for lifetime employment with the World Wrestling Federation. In the hallowed halls of Atlantic law, on an fateful April day in 1984, the Briscoe brothers' ink dried on a parchment that would forever alter the wrestling landscape. For a hefty sum of $900,000, the Briscoes relinquished their ownership to the enigmatic Vince McMahon, granting him sole dominion over the wrestling empire. This seismic shift forced Ted Turner, the formidable competitor at TBS, into an uneasy alliance with McMahon's progeny, Vince Jr. As the deal was consummated, Ollie Anderson, the enigmatic wrestler with a 10% stake in Georgia Championship Wrestler, was blissfully unaware of the momentous events unfolding miles away in Wisconsin, where he was tending to his ailing mother. When Ollie Anderson was approached by Vincent McMahon about a potential partnership promising financial success beyond his wildest dreams, Anderson bluntly replied, "Go screw yourself." Undeterred, McMahon brought in his wife Linda for a meeting, but Ollie's response remained the same: "Screw you too." Vincent McMahon's vision was to elevate his empire into an unprecedented realm of wrestling excellence, boasting unparalleled production value, star power, and marketing prowess. In the unholy alliance between media mogul Ted Turner and wrestling impresario Vince McMahon, Turner had envisioned a renaissance of original Georgia Championship wrestling content on his Superstation. However, McMahon's relentless machinations cast a shadow over Turner's aspirations. Instead of delivering on his promise of unique and groundbreaking GCW programming, McMahon brazenly interjected his own WF content into Turner's broadcast. In appearances between taped matches from Pennsylvania and other WWF strongholds became an unwelcome fixture. McMahon's lackluster interviews and repurposed footage fell far short of the expectations of 605 viewers accustomed to the vibrant tapestry of Georgia wrestling. As ratings plummeted like a stone, McMahon's ambitions grew bolder. With the cunning of a corporate raider, he demanded a hefty cut of TBS advertising revenue, mirroring the lucrative deal he had secured with USA Network. McMahon's thirst for control extended beyond GCW, as he sought to claim a majority stake in Turner's vast broadcasting empire. The seeds of a bitter rivalry had been sown. In the realm of broadcasting, a seismic shift occurred when media mogul Ted Turner summoned Vince to his lair. With a stern demeanor, he delivered an ultimatum. "Your services are no longer required on my network. I will pursue legal action if necessary to enforce this." Unmoved, Ted Turner masterminded a daring strategy by aligning himself with Bill Watts, a visionary promoter who aspired to elevate his Universal Wrestling Federation to national prominence. Turner struck a deal to showcase UWF on TBS every Sunday evening. To the astonishment of many, UWF shattered Vince's ratings dominance on Saturday nights. After a grueling 8-month battle, it became crystal clear that the partnership between TBS and Vince McMahon was doomed to fail. As Vince's stock plummeted, the question arose: who would dare invest in his now devalued company? In a clandestine phone summit, media mogul Ted Turner summoned Vince McMahon and Jim Crockett Jr., orchestrating a pivotal deal. Crockett, eager to expand his wrestling empire, offered a hefty sum of $1 million to acquire Georgia Championship Wrestling. As the negotiations reached their climax, the fate of the beloved promotion hung in the balance. With Turner's deft diplomacy, Crockett emerged triumphant, sealing the deal and securing sole ownership of Georgia Championship Wrestling in 1985. Amidst the turmoil surrounding Jim Barnett's departure from McMahon's empire, a tragic drama unfolded. Torn between loyalty and ambition, Barnett had secretly maintained contact with Crockett, a move that proved disastrous. When McMahon discovered Barnett's clandestine communications, his ire burned hot. Barnett, once a trusted confidant, was summoned to McMahon's office, where he was confronted with a demand for his resignation. Overwhelmed by despair and guilt, Barnett returned home that fateful night, haunted by the consequences of his betrayal. In a moment of reckless desperation, he succumbed to the temptation of sleeping pills. The McMahon family, despite their years of friendship, sent flowers to the hospital where Barnett lay in critical condition. Linda McMahon lingered by his bedside, but the invitation to return to the company remained unspoken. As Barnett slowly recovered, he gathered his shattered remnants and sought solace in his past. Moving to Dallas, he reunited with the Crockett family, the very people he had betrayed. In the tumultuous tapestry of professional wrestling, Jim Barnett found himself once again at the epicenter of change. As Jim Crockett Promotions struggled to survive, Barnett witnessed its eventual sale to Turner Broadcasting in 1988, leaving an imprint on the annals of the industry forevermore.